This is Tunisia. Today, we are going to explore a landmark location which is very important to world history. Welcome to Carthage came like a sudden bright spot in world history. They once got the mighty Roman Empire down on its knees, only to get perished by themselves. Back in time, they had a humble beginning, then they became a Mediterranean superpower, only to attract wrath of then superpower Rome. Phoenicians from Lebanon were the first settlers in Carthage. They were known as the Sea People and often feared as the demiser of many ancient kingdoms of the Bronze Age. They arrived at this fort under Queen Dido of Tyre, Lebanon. Dido was the wife of the chief priest and the sister of the king. The king killed the priest and Dido has to flee. Her heroic journey has been immortalized by poet Virgil. They arrived here in 814 BCE. Dido asked for some land from the local tribal chief. He mocked and said, "You can take the land equivalent to an ox's hide." And Dido was clever. She split up the ox's hide and spread across all different parts of the land and claimed a significant amount, which now called as the Byrsa Hills. Some say this edifice of columns used to be the villa of Dido herself. They called the city Carthage or the New City and called themselves as Punics. These Punics will become superpower in the next 5 centuries and fight 3 wars against the Romans. After the first war was lost, under Hannibal, the Carthage attacked Rome with war elephants crossing the Alps. It was a surprise. They were counter-surprised by Roman general Scipio and lost the war, and lost all the glory after losing the third battle too. The entire glory went to rival city Utica, and the sun set on Carthage. The revival began under Julius Caesar after 100 years. He re-established Carthage as the power epicenter of North Africa under Roman Empire. He rebuilt Carthage in the form of a Roman city, the same senate, same forum, and the temples. Whatever we see in Byrsa Hills today is mainly from the Roman period, until the Vandals destroyed it again in the 5th century. Rest in Byrsa Hill is from 8th Crusade time, 13th century, when the French king Louis IX died here fighting the Holy War. Under French occupation of Tunisia, a cathedral was built in the memory of King Louis. This was built on top of an ancient Roman temple, but in the fate of time, the cathedral is completely neglected. Everything in Carthage is a World Heritage Site and none more prominent than the Roman baths built in the 1st century. Where the Mediterranean whispers to the ruins of the empire stands a place that once defined luxury, power, and Roman engineering brilliance. This is the Antonine Baths of Carthage, the grandest bath complex Rome ever built outside of Italy. A place where emperors, senators, and the citizens of Carthage once bathed in rhythm of the sea. These ruins may seem silent today, but close your eyes. You can almost hear the echoes of life that once filled these halls. Built in the 1st century under Emperor Hadrian and then completed under Emperor Antoninus Pius, the bath stretched across nearly 3 hectares. Imagine marble floors, mosaic ceilings, hot stream rising from underground furnaces, and the endless sea beyond. It wasn't just a bathhouse, it was a social hub, a spa, a temple of indulgence. The baths were a masterpiece of Roman engineering. Beneath your feet, ran a labyrinth of corridors, furnaces, and water channels. The hypocaust system that heated the floors and the pools above. Hot air from massive furnaces circulated the clay pipes, turning the seaside monument into a thermal wonder. And above, people moved through a series of grand halls, from the frigidarium, which offered cold bath, to the trepidarium, offering warm bath, and finally to the caldarium, which was hot chamber with a panoramic view of the sea. The Romans indeed took their bath as a serious affair. What's most striking is how the Roman monuments still feel Tunisian. Open to the sky, kissed by the wind, and forever tied to the sea. Even today, the waves crash against the same stones where Roman citizens once lingered after their bath, watching the horizon turn gold at sunset. You can still see the fragment of marbles, the columns once supported a structure 20 meters tall, towering like a palace by the sea. Standing here, I realize the Romans built things for eternity. Even after centuries of earthquakes, invasions, and time erosions, the Antonine Baths still commanded awe. The Vandals may have destroyed it, the Muslims might have taken the stones away, but it still stands as the UNESCO World Heritage Site. They are a reminder that civilization rise and fall, but human ambition, the desire to create beauty, never fades. It's easy to see why the heart of ancient Carthage, a city that once challenged Rome and later became one of the shining jewels. The water came from the sacred water temple of Zaghouan. Nearly 135 kilometers away, the water flew through the greatest Roman engineering marvel called the Zaghouan Carthage Aqueduct. Built in the 2nd century, it carried fresh mountain water across valleys and plains, feeding fountains, homes, and the magnificent bath. Facing the sea, on either side of the Appian Way, were the Roman villas and the apartments where the wealthy stayed. Most of that got destroyed during the Vandal invasion, but one particular home was reconstructed to show that how a Roman villa looked like. At the heart of ancient Carthage stood a grand Roman theatre, where art and the empire met beneath the open sky. Built in the 2nd century, it could seat over 10,000 spectators, hosting dramas, music, and political gatherings. From these terraces, the audience gazed upon both the stage and the glittering sea beyond. Today, the theatre is still in a remarkable shape. It hosts a lot of events. Final spot, the 1st century Roman Amphitheatre. Not as magnificent as Elgin, but used to host its own gladiator games and public executions in front of lions. Carthage has always been the seat of power since antiquity. From Dido's time till the modern Tunisian president, all stayed at Carthage. If you are in Tunisia and if you have to choose only one spot, Carthage has to be.